Yeah, so welcome back. So last time we discussed who are called as parents. So we discussed it's not just biological parents, but whoever involved in making a decision for the child's growth, they are called as the extended parents. Okay. So in our life, any such people are there because we are going to make it personalized for us. Let us think in bringing up of our kids, who else are involved. So write their names so that it helps you to further take care. So how should be the foundation of the child? Appropriate foundation, we need to keep an eye, that is wrong behavioral conditioning of the child, which includes instability of our decision, and we should not act when they are in reacting mode. So we need to handle our kids very carefully. So what is the very important aspect is, first, whatever the decision we are taking, we should stick to that, or else that decision we only don't give any value, the child will not give any value. Let me tell you example. Suppose today I'm feeding my kid every day badam at morning, and night I'm giving them milk at bedtime. But 2 days, because of my own tiredness, I make a fluctuation this particular timetable. So do you think the child thinks like importance of this bedtime diet and morning diet? He thinks it's flexible. So at times, even as per his or her convenience also, they may give up on that particular aspect. Okay, so in the similar way, if at all we are having time, we will take control over the kids and ask them to read. And if at all we are busy, then we may give them mobiles and ask them to play. Don't disturb us, I have my private space, you go and play. You go and chat with someone, you go to someone else's house, and whenever we are having time and we are having that scope to control over them, we say them how can you go out, how can you play mobile, and all these kind of restrictions. So do you think kids have any clarity over our decisions, why and what is making us? No. So they start developing their own mindset, my parents are like now they are saying this, the other time they say that they don't have stability. So we have to be very much clear, whatever decisions we are making, we have to be clear about them. If you ask your children not to lie, make stability, whatever might be the issue, you should not allow them to say lies, but you cannot keep shuffling the decision making. That's the first important point. Second important point, when they are reacting, we need to be calm and first listen to them rather than reacting at the same time. It is not only just for sake of kids, but any relationship, this is very important. When the other person is reacting, we need to stay calm. So but what usually we do is when kids, as we have more power over them, when they start reacting, we obviously stop them with our authority. So what happens, we never understand what is going on their mind, what is making them to react. If at all you want to read them, if you want to understand them, please be calm at that moment, then you can start taking what kind of action you can take, you will get the right picture about it. Then the important aspect is consensus among parents. The agreement among the parents is very much important. So as I asked you to list out who are all involved in parenting aspect, it could be grandparents, or it could be only the biological parents, or it could be maternal uncles or aunts, whoever it might be. All of them should be there on a common agreement. What happens if at all there is no common agreement? I say some instruction to my child, my husband says some other instruction, and my mother-in-law says some other instruction. What the child will do now? Whom he will follow? Then what he does is he picks whatever he loves to do. We ourselves at this age still are unable to control the mind and driven by the mind. So how about the little child who is not aware of anything? Right? So obviously they'll be driven their mind. So to maintain that clarity, we need to have a common agreement among the parents. I say my child to read, and my husband say him to play. Grandparents comes and say we will go for shopping. So this cannot be maintained, or it should be a parenting in a right style. And the most important part of is like, yes and no, as we spoke. For something I say yes, for something my husband say no, or this kind of stuff happens, then we are encouraging children to learn an interesting way to deal the parents individually. So if at all, whatever the work they want to get it done, if at all I'm not okay with that, he'll approach my spouse. If my spouse is not okay with that, he'll approach me. If we both are not okay with that, he'll go to his grandparents. So in that way, they will make this divide and rule policy. So kindly make sure, like, yes or no, whatever it might be, it should be common among all parents. Then only the discipline can be inculcated in the child. The next important thing is spare 30 minutes for every child, for your child, after every 15 days at least. And I guess in every 15 days, sparing 30 minutes. So 30 minutes is not just sitting, it's about sharing things with the child. Qualitative time. And parents with the child is important. It's not just about one person. So we have to make sure of it. If not 15 days, you can make it 10 days, but not more than 15 days, because it brings a huge gap. What is happening in the child life, you will not be aware of it. So for this particular aspect, what should be done before dealing with the child? First, parents should have that internal commitment. So first, parents should sit and talk and have a self-commitment and should take a promise, like, we are going to stand to this and we will have a meeting like this. So first, parents have to come to one common parameter if at all you want to bring up child in the right way. Done? Now there are two kinds of parenting. One is typical parenting and the other one is modern parenting. So typical parenting. So what happens in typical parenting? Will be very much, one second. So in typical parenting, they want to be very strict and, like, they'll just ignore. They want their child to be very strict. Everything should be organized. I'll share you a few case studies, like, where a mother of 6th class boy and a mother of 9th class girl, like, visited individually with the complaints, like, they are not organized. They don't help me anything at home. They don't arrange the dinner table. They don't arrange the breakfast table. They don't keep their cupboards neat. Okay, they don't fold their clothes. They are not organized. They don't wake up on the time. Always I need to indicate them. Or whenever they are carrying any bottle, like, they are throwing the things down. They're so reckless. And really the parents are going into depression. So what do you think about a mother of 6th class boy? Can expect that stuff from them?
Yes.
So before that, we have to question, did we ever not done any mistakes in our childhood? How were we in our childhood first? And how are the things corrected in our childhood? So rather than going right away to the reactive state and shouting at the kids, we have to think about how we have grown up, how most of the society is. Then basing on that, we have to slowly mold the child rather than shouting and comparing him, like, you're fit for nothing. So that's not going to work out. So they can be corrected, and, like, mistakes can be done by anyone. For that, you cannot just blame the child, but you have to recall how the life goes and we need to work out with them. So, but what are the mistakes that
I
happen?
didn't understand, ma'am. I quite didn't understand. Reflecting on your own life, how do we be able to correct that in our child, right? To me, what I practice, or what actions I take at home, my child will follow that, right?
Okay.
How is it going to help me reflecting on my childhood? Because
When we are
circumstances were
following, it's
different.
not a
We
problem.
never had house help in when we were children. We used to do all the house chores, but right now there is no one chore that